Hey guys, it's me. I just wanted to hop on real quick and share with you my experience today of how I kind of almost had a little mini meltdown at Andrew's physical therapy. Well, it was this like evaluation appointment. And so basically, and how I dealt with the kind of overwhelming amount of mom guilt that I had from that. And so basically today, my youngest son, my fourth son, he's 16 months. We had waited all summer to do this evaluation, and so there's like occupational therapist, a speech therapist, a physical therapist, all these, therapists, and they do all these evaluations. And this is my fourth kid, and 3 out of my 4 kids have had gross motor delays and or speech delays. So I was kind of familiar with this process, but it had been a while because Adeline hadn't had any of those, my third. So anyway, they ask you this huge battery of questions, and no joke, I think 90% of those questions I did not know the answers to. They like all this stuff, like how does your son move from stomach to sitting up, or does your son point to things like this, or does he point to things like this? And I'm like, I don't know. How does your son respond to like commands, or when you give him directives? And I'm like, I don't know. We haven't given him any directives. I mean, but to be fair, when you're not walking or even crawling or pulling up, you're not really like getting into anything that, whatever. So all this stuff and is like going on, and I'm like, I am a terrible mother. I'm just having all these negative self-talk, and I'm thinking about like when I had my first child and we were going through these same questions. I knew all the answers, and I was like totally a stay-at-home mom with our first child, and I was like just so into it, and now with my fourth, I was like, I don't know anything. They're like, how does he respond to baths? And I was like, I've never even given Andrew a bath. Like my husband does, and now our au pair does. I was like, I don't know. I hear him crying a lot. I don't think he likes the water. So, hey there. So, anyway, it was kind of really bad. And then they go away, and then they come back and they give you a report, and they like tell you where he is on all these, hey Melanie, on all these like charts and whatever. And it was like, I knew he definitely had a delay and was going to qualify for services for gross motor, but like he was at a 50% delay for his fine motor skills. I was like, what? How is that possible? We're a Montessori family, and my son is at a 50% delay for fine motor skills, and he was 50% delay for the like expressive speaking or some other stuff. And if you have a gross motor delay, it kind of can cause delays in all other areas of development, and I know that, and they explained that to me, but it just sucked hearing. I was like, I'm just failing as a mom. And then I was like really fighting back the tears and just like, okay, don't cry, Joy, because that's gonna be super awkward. You don't even know these women. She's like, just hold it together till you get to the car, and then you can like have a good cry, and hopefully you can just move on. So then as I was walking out to the parking lot, I was thinking about this post I just read from Havla Cunnington, love you Havla, about how the most important thing she does as a mom and as a leader is to check her self-talk. So I have actually formulated my own like how to deal with mom guilt. I call it my mom guilt mind flood no more system. Hey Laurel. And so I was like, let me just check my self-talk and let me try not to cry. And I just went through this like 3-step process I have when I'm dealing with mom guilt. And then I prayed on the drive home, and it really helped. And I actually felt like while I was praying that, I felt like maybe the Lord was just allowing these delays because our life has been so crazy the last year that Andrew is like so not stressful at all, because when your baby isn't really crawling or walking or anything, they're not getting into anything. You really don't have to like do much training or discipline because they're not moving yet. They're just not at that stage yet cognitively because they're not walking yet. Once you start walking, everything starts kind of like clicking, and then you kind of gotta like get a lot more involved, but until they start walking, it's just like easy street, in my opinion, as long as they're sleeping. So I felt just really encouraged by that, and I also felt like the Lord's like, maybe I'm just forcing like this to become a big rock in your schedule. Like this is going to be a little one-on-one play date time with Andrew and you every week for a while, and that's going to be a really great thing. Like that never happens. And so I just want to encourage you guys to be real with you, that I have these breakdowns. It doesn't always like go like this. I mean, hey Courtney, you can often, if I'm in a public place, you know, check the restroom and find me like having a little mini meltdown in there 2 to 3 times a month, or in my bedroom because I work from home mostly now. But you know, it is super helpful to check your self-talk, and I was just reminded by that. I do think there's an enemy out there that doesn't want us as women or leaders or mothers or wherever you are called to do something great. You know, you can feel like you can believe the lies. Thanks, Laurel. You can believe the lies, or you can choose to recognize them for what they are. And that can be hard, because when you're tired, or when you are exhausted, or when you're just emotionally spent, maybe you're just like going through stuff with friends or family or your partner or your kids, or like just really, you're exhausted. You know, it's hard to like think rationally to yourself. But I just want to encourage you, even if you feel like you can't, then just like spend time praying or meditating or whatever you do, so you can get a little bit of clarity of thought. And yeah, and just, you know, I just want to encourage you that you're doing better than you think. Like, even if you are crying a lot, that's okay. And then I got home and I found out I was on my period again for the 3rd time this month, and I haven't had my period for 2 years. So I was like, oh, well, no wonder I've been all over the place. So anyway, believe in you guys big time. Hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.